At the outset of the movie, an experienced fisherman sets out to sea, a routine he has repeated countless times. As he casts his net from the boat, an unexpected mishap occurs when the net snags on something on the ocean floor. Determined, the fisherman dives down but becomes trapped, unable to resurface as a massive school of fish encircles him. Meanwhile, in a distant lighthouse, a keeper in Germany interrupts her discussion of current affairs upon receiving a signal on her monitor. She rushes off to investigate. In a separate subplot, Charlie must swim to retrieve a sensor tangled in fishing nets. Simultaneously, strange occurrences unfold in Canada, where Leon, a young whale researcher, is called to Vancouver's city beach to examine a giant killer whale that washed ashore. After inspecting the animal, he seeks out the fishing dock to uncover who among the poachers may have inflicted serious injuries upon the killer whale. An old fisherman takes Leon to his boat and reveals the damaged vessel, used in an attempt to overturn the killer whale. While Leon initially doubts the story, the old man insists the fishermen had no choice but to protect themselves by harming the whale. Back with Charlie and her newfound friend, they launch a repaired sensor into the ocean to track marine animal populations. They notice an unusual quantity of methane ice fragments around the boat, an occurrence that typically results in them rising to the surface. However, today, there are an excessive number of these fragments. In the following sequence, Leon hears about whale sightings in various locations along the coast before heading out to sea. He calls his girlfriend Lizzie, who has already taken tourists on her boat to witness wild killer whales. A massive whale appears near Leon's boat, followed by a pod of orcas. The tourists watch in awe as the whales come into view, with a humpback giant also making an appearance. The tourists are thrilled by the strange behavior of the whale, except for Leon, who tries to warn them but is too late. The next move by the whale results in a collision with the boat. Leon arrives at the accident scene, attempting to rescue survivors, but a pod of orcas begins hunting the tourists. Tragically, Leon is unable to save Lizzie. The narrative transitions to a French restaurant, where the chef plans to prepare lobsters purchased from the market. One of the lobsters emits an unknown liquid onto the chef's face. Despite wiping it away, the chef and two other cooks start to feel ill by evening. The chef passes away that night, and the two young cooks are hospitalized, awaiting test results to explain the incident. At the same time, a Norwegian ship at sea lowers a camera to investigate an unusual phenomenon, an invasion of ice worms. Some specimens are brought to the surface, revealing a new peculiarity. These creatures possess jaws and reproduce at an astonishing rate. A commission is established, unanimously agreeing that a new worm species and bacteria have been discovered. Leon converses with the fishing boat owner, who witnessed the humpback whales attacking other vessels the previous day. Leon also notes another anomaly. The ship's bottom is covered in a thick layer of mollusks, an unprecedented sight. A group of scientists deploys a sampler to investigate the seafloor where the worms were found. However, a methane leak causes an explosion, though the ship survives. The scientists are not only alarmed by the operational mistake, but also by the test results, which indicate warmth on the seafloor and bacteria capable of consuming ice, even reaching the ocean's depths. Jazz records a video message for Charlie when suddenly, strange readings appear on the monitors. The water beneath the ship starts boiling, and something pulls it into the depths. The movie's focus then shifts to Venice, where a young man reading poetry on a bridge drops his book into the canal, captivated by thousands of giant jellyfish rising to the surface. In a parallel development, analysis of the bacteria from the infected chef reveals a new strain that feeds on blood cells. Several more individuals have died after dining at the coastal restaurant. Leon seeks permission to perform an autopsy on the killer whale to investigate how pollution affects whales and its potential connection to their altered behavior. While the experts find nothing unusual inside the whale, Leon discovers an unknown substance in its brain, which is sent for further analysis. Finally, another victim of infection emerges, this time a young man from a car wash. The movie weaves together these diverse events, creating a complex narrative with interconnected storylines. The scientists comprehend that the bacterial contamination emanated from the restaurant and infiltrated the water supply system. Leon becomes aware of new instances of whale attacks. Upon scrutinizing the map, he discerns a recurring pattern coinciding with the whale's migration. To validate his suspicions, he sails to the location where the whales rest during their slumber. The dive nearly culminates in a catastrophe, but Leon successfully manages to affix a camera onto one of the whales and emerges safely. He discovers that the Japanese have also encountered the mysterious worms, but are hesitant to divulge this information to the world. Simultaneously, recordings from the cameras undergo scrutiny in 2 different laboratories. Leon's footage reveals that the whale pod descended to the ocean's depths, encountering peculiar luminous phenomena. Meanwhile, a separate incident transpires on the coast, with swarms of crabs emerging onto the streets of a small village. A subsequent seabed recording finally unravels the enigma. An oil and gas company had illicitly drilled in a prohibited area, damaging the seabed for several kilometers. In an attempt to collect more samples for analysis, Leon sneaks through a guarded port area but gets apprehended by security and arrested. The next morning, Mr. Sato, the Japanese shipowner, contacts Leon. He implores Leon not to trespass on his property in the future, but promises to grant access to all research materials. Charlie, at this point, receives a message recorded by Jess a few minutes before the tragic incident. After her emotions subside, she notices peculiarities in the recording, such as a glow behind a porthole. Crabs are transported to the laboratory, exhibiting the same mysterious substance that rapidly absorbs blood cells. Charlie reviews the video repeatedly, searching for anomalies. Eventually, she discerns a sound reminiscent of the deep-sea recording. She contacts the laboratory and presents the portion of the recording that piqued her interest. However, her stern boss, Katerina, initially dismisses the scientist's theories, deeming the sounds on different recordings as random noise. She instructs Charlie to wrap up her work and close the station for the time being. After some reflection, Katerina decides to put this hypothesis to the test. A helicopter carrying a group of scientists and a deep water device arrives on the island. Sigur delivers the device to Charlie, intending to leave. However, emergency messages from mainland scientists inform them of an impending, devastating tsunami. Witnessing the imminent catastrophe, they realize their chances of survival are slim. Sigur manages to alert Charlie, and they hastily depart. During a conference, scientists present their findings, concluding that the bacteria intentionally infects humans, necessitating a mass evacuation from water sources. Leon attempts to warn his fishermen friends, but they stubbornly choose to remain in their familiar aquatic habitat, even if it means facing their demise. Rahim meets Leon at the Institute to partake in a scientific conference, where the brightest minds convene to discuss the unfolding crisis. Most concur that there is an inexplicable force at play, intent on compelling humanity to abandon the ocean. Only Katerina opposes the rest. She adamantly refuses to forsake the knowledge and convictions she has gained through years of experience. She directs the group to seek a logical explanation grounded in science, despite the objections of their mentor. The group of scientists subsequently presents their theory to the public, successfully convincing the government that marine inhabitants infected with bacteria are intentionally attacking humans. They even give this new intelligence a name. However, this version of events only elicits mockery from top officials who suggest finding more scientific solutions instead of negotiating with this unknown intelligence. Astrophysicist Samantha Grove comes to the scientists' aid. Unlike politicians, she meticulously studies the report and concurs that the peculiar sounds on various recordings bear all the characteristics of an unfamiliar world language. Additionally, her team manages to capture the same signal from Antarctica. Another influential figure, Japanese Mifuno, also believes in Sigur's theory and agrees to finance their venture in the hopes of saving the world. Sigur assembles the team and informs them of the impending mission. He suggests that everyone carefully evaluate the risks, and those willing to go all the way will be ready for an expedition to the Arctic in 48 hours. The scientists return home to bid farewell to their loved ones and inform them of their impending departure. Many relatives attempt to dissuade them from going, but everyone understands that this represents their last chance to rectify the situation. According to the scientists' calculations, the largest accumulation of intelligent bacteria is located in one of the valleys in Antarctica, where they may have existed for millions of years. The company prepares to establish contact, with each team member playing their respective role during interviews with a young journalist. Finally, the equipment on the ship starts to emit interference, and the scientists prepare to capture a signal from the mysterious organism. Sarah Mifuno's assistant confides in Leon that she would never have believed in their theory if it weren't for her boss, who has consistently demonstrated his intuitive accuracy over the years. Samantha develops a plan to add the sound of a human child's scream to the organism's audio signal and return the recording to the intelligence as a sign of readiness for communication. Charlie requests to accompany a colleague in the diving apparatus to the ocean floor. As the ship drops anchor, the scientists begin transmitting the sound message. Meanwhile, the daring couple prepares to dive. The entire team eagerly awaits any reaction, and finally, movement appears on the radar, and the sensors pick up a sound signal. Inside, he capsule, they try to contact the captain's bridge but find that communication is non-functional. The chief pilot, Luther, decides to retrieve the capsule, but Charlie notices a movement and turns off the lights to observe. On the ship, others also notice something approaching. Sigur insists on the captain recalling the submarine, but they cannot reach the crew. Luther is unwilling to take any more risks and hoists the boat onto the ship. As the capsule is received into a special compartment, Charlie notices a strange glow around them. Meanwhile, Samantha reports that they have established contact, with the sound signal returning and the child's cry altered, indicating that the bacteria understood the message from humans. Dr. Chase begins searching for a way to cure those already infected by the bacteria. Luther tells the journalist that he saw nothing at the ocean's depth, and everything Charlie witnessed was likely a figment of her imagination, just like the entire notion of intelligent bacteria. Nevertheless, Samantha attempts to decipher the messages to compose a response signal that the intelligence will comprehend. Charlie overhears her colleagues but cannot muster the courage to reveal that they have inadvertently brought the bacteria into the pool. Leon visits the girl whose body is covered in strange spots, and the doctor asks for help in holding her while they extract a sample of cerebrospinal fluid for analysis. The doctor informs the team of the results, revealing that the substance previously found in marine creatures was discovered in Alicia's spinal cord. Chase believes that the bacteria were attempting to merge with the girl's cells, and Charlie admits to seeing the glowing substance enter the ship with them. Samantha records a new message for Earth, this time including an audio image from the astrophysicist. Charlie sneaks into the sealed compartment without permission, and the pool begins to glow once more, creating unusual shapes with the light. At that moment, Samantha receives a response message from the entity, which also includes an image. Mr. Mifuno's helicopter lands on the ship, as he wishes to be present for the revelation. Sigur shows him the recording from the pool cameras and the image sent in response to Samantha's message. According to the astrophysicist, they have an image of the super ocean that once surrounded a supercontinent millions of years ago. The scientists deduce that the entity is reminding them that they have existed on Earth far longer than humans and simply want the oceans to be left undisturbed. However, this revelation sparks disagreement within the team. Chase devises a drug that can destroy the bacteria consuming blood cells, causing a rift among the team members. Nonetheless, Samantha continues working on deciphering the messages to establish a ceasefire. The objective is to thoroughly test it before considering any further action. However, Sigur strongly disagrees with this approach, advocating for a delay until they can confirm their inability to negotiate with the ER. In contrast, Chase adopts a middle ground stance, proposing that they proceed with testing the drug in the pool, but refrain from an immediate release into the open ocean. As anticipation builds, everyone assembles to witness the experiment. With a sense of resolve, Chase releases the drug into the water. Immediately, an alarming phenomenon unfolds as the substance causes the water to surge, emitting a deafening scream that fractures the glass. Alarmed by the sudden turn of events, the captain is informed that nothing seems to be functioning on the ship, leaving them adrift in the icy waters of Antarctica, surrounded by menacing icebergs. In a shocking twist of fate, the vessel collides with one of the icebergs. Unexpectedly, a mysterious blue radiance transports the ship to an entirely different location. Perplexed by these developments, the captain orders the engines to be restarted to regain control of their trajectory. He also questions why they haven't utilized the entirety of the drug on board, but Sigur attempts to clarify that the current predicament is the consequence of the reckless pool experiment. Moreover, Sigur emphasizes that no one in the world would manufacture enough of the substance to pose a global threat. The only viable solution, in Sigur's view, is to seek a truce. While the team deliberates on how to negotiate with Earth, the entity traps the ship amidst the icebergs. In a swift response, Charlie rushes to the capsule with the intent to descend and deliver Luther's body to ER as a symbol of complete submission. However, Charlie modifies her plan by injecting Luca's essence into her heart, enabling her to merge with ER. She then opens the capsule door, allowing Luther's body to fall under ER's control. This action results in the icebergs releasing the ship, and a multitude of lights envelop the submerged girl. In a subsequent turn of events, Charlie steers the ship to a desolate island. As the ship docks, it becomes apparent that the girl, now bearing luminous blue eyes, has awakened and gazes skyward. The saga concludes here. Please feel free to share your thoughts on this series in the comments.